Hello and welcome to another Stitches and Scribbles tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to make some easy crochet scrunchies as part of our holiday gift series. Since we're getting towards cutting it really close for gifts, I figured I would throw in a really simple, really fast gift that makes a great stocking stuffer or gifts for a big group of people if you need to make a lot. For your scrunchie, you're going to need your yarn of choice. I prefer to use a fluffy yarn. Today I'm using the Bernat blanket yarn. You can do it with a thinner yarn or even like a 1 or 2 weight yarn, but it doesn't make the big fluffy scrunchie, so I prefer to use a thicker one. You also need a hair tie and a hook to go with your yarn size. I am using a 9mm hook today, so a pretty large one since I do have a pretty large yarn. You're going to start with a slip knot, and the only thing that you need stitch-wise for this scrunchie tutorial is how to do a double crochet stitch. You're going to pretend your rubber band is like the stitch that you would be working into, and we're just going to work a whole bunch of double crochets into that rubber band. So start with a chain 3, making sure to catch your yarn around the hair tie in that first chain stitch. And then we're just going to double crochet. Like so. So to slow it down a little bit for you, I'm doing a yarn over my hook, inserting my hook into the hair tie, yarn over again, pull it back out, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your double crochet stitch. One more time, yarn over, insert your hook into the rubber band, yarn over again, pull through 2, pull through 2. And you're going to keep doing that stitch so that it fills the rubber band. As you're filling it, you're going to notice that if you scrunch it, you can fit more stitches on. You want this to be kind of wavy so that it curls up on itself. So you're really going to push in as many stitches as you possibly can into that rubber band. I'll come back when I have a few more stitches on my scrunchie. So you can see now I have quite a few stitches around my rubber band, so many that it has started to curl. Since you want to fit in as many stitches as possible, you keep sliding the stitches over and squeezing more in. Otherwise, when you stretch out the scrunchie, it won't stretch around your hair because the stitches will be too tight. So you want to keep sliding those stitches over so that there's room for more. I'm going to squeeze in just a few more stitches on mine. Alright, and once you have the number of stitches you would like, I'm going to squeeze in one more there, you're going to bind off. So stick your hook into the third into the third chain stitch from your very first stitch, pull it all the way through, cut the yarn, and draw it through the last loop to seal off. Now we're going to weave in our ends, and this part gets a little tricky because you don't want to weave your ends in around the hair tie because then they're going to fall out. So I pull the original end up through the stitch until it's at the same height as the end I just cut, like that. Then I take my stitches along the edge and I weave my crochet hook through them back and forth. And pull both strands through. This is where it's going to get kind of hard to see on camera because my yarn is so fluffy. pull it through. I'm going to do it one more time. So weave through those top stitches and pull those extra threads through. Then you can stretch out your stitches at the top so that they are back to the way that they were before, and it should hide most of your ends inside. If you have a little bit sticking out like I do, you can always trim it. Give it another little tug, and those ends should be hidden. The reason why we do it along the top edge is because the top edge doesn't stretch when you put the scrunchie in, but the part that's around the rubber band does. So by weaving it in around the top edge, they are less likely to fall out. There's your finished scrunchie. You can do this with any yarn scraps you happen to have. They don't take that much in terms of yardage. If I had to guess, I would say it takes under like 30 yards of yarn. So even if you have just a little scrap ball, you should be able to make one. This is what it looks like in the Red Heart, what's it called? The Red Heart Roll With It yarn. So this is a thinner yarn, and you can see that it's still very pretty, but it doesn't have the scrunchy shape that a fluffier yarn has. So still very pretty, but if you're going for a scrunchie, use a thicker yarn. I also made some in velvet yarn, and so far this is my favorite, but it's also very hard to see on camera, which is why I used a different yarn to show you. And the velvet is extra cute for the holidays, so I highly recommend using that. I used the Yarn Bee velvet yarn for this one in a emerald teal color. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!